to have you here today. This is my hopefully successful first video using my new microphone. As you saw from the very short video I uploaded last, I got a new microphone, and I'm still playing around with the patterns and the gain and all these new features that my old microphone did not have. Today we are here to talk about some recent reads. I fully did not read for the month of September, pretty much, and part of October. I was just in a really big reading slump. Actually, it's a lie. I did read, but I did not finish a book. But I don't like to talk about my DNF, because my DNF are always book that I end up picking up again. So I don't know if that makes any sense. Anyway, so these are books that I read towards the end of summer, and more recently in at the end of October, beginning of November. So yeah, let's just get started. So the first book I would like to talk about, I do not own. I don't have a physical copy of it. When I was on holiday with my friends in Spain, my friend was reading this book. Although very heavy in topic, I was immediately fascinated by it. And this is Happening by Ernaux, who is I think, famous French author. I was not aware of her. And this is her memoir recounting her abortion that she had in the 60s as a young woman. I don't know why I'm always attracted, fascinated by novels, or in this case, real accounts, but it really read like a novel. It was almost like a diary. It was almost like a diary. But because I don't know any Ernaux, it felt like a fictional character. But yeah, I'm very attracted by books that talk about the negative sides, or like the horrors even, of pregnancy and maternity in general, motherhood. I don't know why. I think it's because it validates my bias, validates my point of view. I don't want to have children, so it's just like, I don't know. It's or maybe because I don't want to have children, I don't mind reading these type of things. Whereas, of course, maybe, I don't know, if you want to become a parent, or if you are a parent, you're not so attracted by horrific stories about pregnancies and motherhood. I don't know. I'm not too sure, and I'm not here to claim that it's the healthiest interest, I guess, but alas, I really like, we need to talk about Kevin. I really liked Night Bitch. When it comes to films, I really liked Mother by Aronofsky. I really liked Time I Love, which is from the same director as The Woman That Adapted. We need to talk about Kevin. So I just really like stories like this. I don't know what to say. And this memoir is told with such stark, matter-of-fact, like, her voice is so, she was like on a mission. I've fallen pregnant, and this thing has to be eradicated from me as soon as possible. And it's so hard to read about the physical hardship that she had to go through, but also emotionally, not knowing who to talk to, not knowing like who to trust even with this information. It was a hard read, somehow the perfect summer read. these are my rambles about happening. So the next book I read was actually the third installment in the Neapolitan series, so the My Brilliant Friend series, and it's called Storia di resta e di fugge. Now what I'm tapping on is actually the fourth volume, because my third volume was left behind at my mom's house, because when I visited last, my suitcase was too full, so I just couldn't fit it in. This is the fourth installment, which is ironic that I'm showing it, because this is kind of what got me into a reading slump. Like, I was kind of forcing myself to finish it throughout September, but the Neapolitan series, you know, my Brilliant Friend is a strictly summer read for me, and so I just could not hack it. But anyway, back to the third installment. I read it very quickly, and I read it when I was also on a different holiday, summer holiday, and it follows, so throughout the whole series we follow Elena and Lena, these two childhood best friends that take different paths in life, but they are forever connected by a very special bond that they have, in good and bad. They are just connected for life. And the third installment explores their separate lives, with Elena moving out of Naples and getting married and starting a family, and then Lena working at this like a, what you call it? It's like a butcher, but like a factory butchery, I guess. So, and she's really the trajectory of their life at this point is very different. Elena is living quite a comfy life with a, good husband that provides. She's also being successful in her own way with her writing, and Lena is being treated like shit, let's be real, at this work, and the work itself is horrible, and the boss is horrible, and things in her life are not good, because in the second book, a spoiler I guess, she had a child at the end of the second one, but she broke off her marriage, so now she's kind of like alone. Not that she's ever, she can always figure it out, but sometimes she also needs help. Anyway, so that book was amazing up until the end, because at the end of that book, Elena gets involved with a certain someone, and the book started to get completely focused on him, and I just wanted to rip out the pages, because oh gosh, I hate him so much. If you know the series, you know. So most likely I'll get back to this book next summer. Also, how crazy that I read most of it, but I've read it at such a slow pace that now it's gone. I need to reread it in the summer. So that was Elena Ferrante, Storia di chi resta e di chi fugge. While I was still in Italy, as it tends to happen, really struggling. Her her birth family is struggling. They have a lot of children. They live in poverty. The dynamics are not good. So not only our protagonist is struggling, every single day to adapt to a very different lifestyle than what she was used to, but she's always, of course, constantly struggling with the why. Why was I returned? Why was who I thought was my mom didn't want me anymore, and why my real mom wants me now? A lot of questions, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of loss. This is quite a sad book, but thankfully she will very quickly find a sisterhood in her sister that she never knew she had, Adriana. And Adriana is my favorite character in this book. She's so wonderful, and is the character that does the most evolving, even more than our protagonist. Is our protagonist unnamed? I think it is. I think she's not named, I think. But yeah, a really lovely short, well, not lovely, pretty sad, but it's still want to keep you reading because you want to figure out what happened, why was she returned. Yeah, and then she goes, the town that she moves to with the poor family, with her real family, birth family, is not too far to where she used to live. And so a couple times she goes back to kind of have a look around and figure out what happened. And the family, her adoptive family, is not living there anymore, so there's also a slight mystery to what is happening, what is going on. So I highly recommend this one. Okay, so next, after a very long reading slump, when I was in Portland, I picked up Creep. The texture of this book is so satisfying. It's like matte. But yeah, Creep was just a page turner. It was so thrilling, so good. So I love a weird girl book. I like a unstable, dirty, messy, cynical woman protagonist, and this is all those things. So this follows Alice. This follows Alice, whom works as a cleaner for this guy Tom, and she's the definition of unreliable narrator, because the more you read about it, the more it's established early on that Alice is obsessed with Tom, and at first you think, oh, okay, it's not that bad, but then the more she unravels her feelings towards him, the more you realize that it's completely unhinged, and it's such a build-up. I love a book or a story in general where it's a build-up to one specific thing that needs to happen, which you might argue it's most stories, but you don't always know the climax of a story. Sometimes it's clear, we are building up to, in this case, we're building up to Alice meeting Tom in real life. That's kind of the climax, the goal. Some other times you don't know where stories are headed. You don't know really what's gonna happen because there's not a clear goal. But yeah, this was such a page turner, so good. The ending, a little bit, no, the ending was fine. It was more like, on top of this, they tried to add some backstory with, she tries Emma von she tries to add some bits of lore to why Alice is this way, kind of thing, and her backstory with her sister and her mom. And I don't know, like, I didn't care so much about that. I mainly cared about her obsession and her just spiraling into madness about this man and what this man represents for her, and the change, basically the change that her life will have once they get together in her head, you know. So this was absolutely amazing. Next other book that I picked up in Portland is A Short Stay in Hell by Stephen L. Peck. This is, I became interested in this because of Sarah Hawkinson, Possessed by Horror. She's spoken about this book before. And this is about a man, Soren Johansen. He dies, and he was a devoted Mormon while alive. And so when he dies, he for sure assumes that he's going to go to heaven. He does, and he goes to hell. But not only that, hell is not what his faith has brought him up to think hell is. There's actually different versions of hell, and for him, hell is being confined between these two massive, well, they're actually not connected with any bridges, but these massive, extremely tall, inhumanely tall libraries. And the only way to leave hell is to find a book that tells your life story. The catch is that most books are gibberish, and also the amount of books is beyond human comprehension. So this is extremely existential. It deals a lot with the concept of time and the universe, and the concept of the infinite is like nothing is infinite in this hell, but the numbers are so beyond human comprehension. They're just so, it's just too big to comprehend. And then the other thing that I love is that it deals with how humans is kind of like if we had to start from scratch. We naturally organize ourselves, we naturally give ourselves rules, and also sadly, naturally some people will choose different paths or violence even. So, you know, he finds himself there with other people, and they go through these things that I've just mentioned. A meditation on faith, human nature, and the relentless scope of eternity. Yeah, very haunting. I wouldn't say horrific. I wouldn't say it's horror just because it's set in hell, but it's definitely very existential, science fiction-y, horror elements. Definitely a terrifying concept, that's for sure. But so I highly recommend this, and it's only 104 pages. And lastly, on my iPad, my beloved iPad mini, I downloaded a free copy of The Destructors by Graham Greene. This is an obligatory, compulsory read for me, considering how much I love Donnie Darko. In Donnie Darko, Donnie's teacher, I forgot her name, but she's played by Drew Barrymore. She makes the class read The Destructors, which is a very, very, very short story. It's like, let me see. novel really deals with the effects of World War II and exposure to tragedy, the effects of exposure to tragedy to these boys, and how they find pleasure in destruction, and destruction as an act of creation, I guess. It makes a lot of sense that this was included in Donnie Darko, if you've ever seen Donnie Darko. It's like destruction, even though destructive, gives you a sense of control and almost security in an odd, contorted way. But yeah, this was a very good read. Very easy, very short. It took me a very long time. I've always wanted to read it, but I was always looking up like Graham Greene reading or like short story collections. I could never find it in it, so I just downloaded it and it's done. So yeah, right now I'm reading Frankenstein by Mary Shelley because I recently watched the Guillermo del Toro adaptation, and I'm really enjoying it. It's so beautifully written. I usually skip classics because I think they're gonna be, I assume they're gonna be too hard for me to read, but this one is really not. And also, I remember I had read it, like half of it, a while back, like years ago, so I still remember some things. Anyway, I don't know if this is the right pattern for sounds like this, like I'll see in post. But thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found some reading inspiration. Let me know what you're reading down below, and I'll see you very soon in my next video. Bye bye.